Married to the Mob is a pretty good episode of The Simpsons, but I am wondering how much I would like it if I'd never seen Star Wars, because certainly the bits that I enjoyed the most involve Mark Hamill. This is the 9th episode of the 10th season of The Simpsons, directed by Swinton and Scott III, and Mark Hamill actually voices himself. The character of Mark Hamill, is at a convention, and Homer is there, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But he also voices a second character. He voices Leavelle. We also have Fat Tony in this episode, and I'm not the biggest fan of Fat Tony, but actually I didn't mind him too much in this particular one. He plays quite an important part, so it's just as well that I didn't mind him. But it starts off with this convention, and Homer ends up saving the mayor and Mark Hamill when things get a little bit over chaotic at the convention and people start to kind of stampede. He manages to save them and ends up becoming a bodyguard for the mayor. Is that a role that Homer fits? Maybe not necessarily. When I think back to the episode when Marge became a police officer, I kind of almost feel like that fits for her. This kind of role I don't think works for Homer, but it works with the episode. And he learns that Fat Tony is doing something pretty awful, and the mayor is aware of this, and Homer has to try and convince the mayor to out Fat Tony, and to stop this corruption. Whether or not he'll succeed, I'm not going to say. The narrative's interesting enough. I didn't mind it. There's a bit of Guys and Dolls in there, as Mark Hamill's supposed to be performing in Guys and Dolls. It's not my favourite musical, but I don't mind it. There is obviously one or two Star Wars references throughout this, which is something that I, as a Star Wars fan, I liked. But had I seen this episode before watching Star Wars, it would have meant nothing to me. But that's always going to be the case when popular TV shows reference other pop culture. You'll get more out of it if you understand the references. There are Simpsons episodes where I don't understand the references, and I still enjoy them. So I feel like I probably would have still liked it enough, but I liked it a lot more actually understanding half of what was going on. Not my favourite episode, but for season 10, I'd say it's a pretty good one. I do like Mark Hamill in it. I even liked Fat Tony's involvement in it, which, as I said, not the biggest fan of the character. So actually, surprisingly, Married to the Mob is one that I liked a lot more than I'd expected.